This is Charlotte Flair. If you're a wrestling fan, you might remember her as the woman who always wins world title belts and always has incredible matches while doing it. There isn't much she hasn't done. She is a 14-time world champion within WWE, a 2-time NXT champion. She's main evented WrestleMania. She's wrestled matches of the year and even won the Women's Royal Rumble match as recently as January of 2025. She's also the daughter of the Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Woo! 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 Woo!
Get out of the shot.
Working on it.
Regarded as one of the greatest pro wrestlers of all time, and she is being regarded as the greatest wrestler maybe of her time. Maybe one of the greatest women to do it, and if she keeps going, people will just say that she's one of the greatest ever to do it. Wrestling is in her blood, she's been raised with it. Yeah, she grew up as someone who understood what the 2001 A Space Odyssey theme music really meant. With her recent Royal Rumble win underneath her belt, she now gets a shot at a different belt, another WWE Women's Championship at WrestleMania 41, and she's gonna roll the dice in a big way in Sin City, Las Vegas. But the title is currently held by a strong upstart. Truly one of the big breakout talents of WWE in recent memory, one of the most successful call-ups from NXT recently as well, Tiffany Stratton, who at the time of recording seems like the next big star for WWE's women's division. Tiffany Stratton has a ton of momentum and a lot of fresh eyes on her from both casual and diehard fans who love the idea of the moonsaulting Barbie of modern-day pro wrestling retaining her championship in Las Vegas. Now that's a fan sentiment, but our esteemed analysis also thinks that might be the right way to go as well. Not convinced? That's okay. We got you covered. You're watching Sportskeeda Wrestling, and today, I, Kevin Kellum, am here to explain why Charlotte Flair maybe needs to be on the losing end at WrestleMania 41. Who do you want to see win at WrestleMania 41 between Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton? The comments are below. Let us know what you think. And is there a different match that isn't on the WrestleMania card yet that needs to be there? Let us know about it. Oh, hit the like button already, too. Okay, let's get into it. A little bit of Charlotte Flair's history. Along with fellow NXT 4 horsewomen Bayley, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks, Flair revolutionized women's pro wrestling in the mid-2010s. With the resurgence of women's sports, specifically in the combat sports world, Ronda Rousey had a ripple effect and WWE took notice, developing these 4 women to change the perception of pro wrestling in the major league of WWE. She had some banger matches in NXT, seriously. Look up the one she's had with Natalya and Sasha Banks, among others, before heading up to the main roster to be a part of what would be known as the Submission Sorority, or rather PCB. Don't Google the first one, especially if you're on a work computer. Yeah, that was an issue that WWE had to work around. She had a strong feud that introduced her to the main roster fans against Nikki Bella and Team Bella, resulting in Charlotte ending Nikki's record-setting run with the Divas Championship. That's right away, Charlotte Flair was getting gold on Raw and SmackDown. Remember that belt, the WWE Divas Championship belt? The butterfly belt that looked more like a Barbie accessory than a wrestling championship? Yeah, dark times in the eyes of some. Also, many of you are claiming, if you're already watching this as a Tiffany Stratton fan, that should be her belt. It's so girly and beautiful. She needs it. She's a princess. Don't worry, we already know you're there. Stick with us here. Charlotte Flair actually went down in history as the last Divas champion and ushered in a new, more technical era of pure women's wrestling action. It was more legit, it was more bell-to-bell, give 'em hell, and Charlotte Flair was proving with her athletic background and her acumen to doing things in the ring in a way that made people go, oh wow, this is serious, that she was the person to revamp it as the WWE Women's Championship, a belt that would be known as the Raw Women's Championship soon after. From here, it was plain sailing ahead for the Queen, who at the top of the card would drop the title and win it back in various forms for another 12 times in the following decade. She beat pretty much everyone there was to beat. Each of her fellow 4 horsewomen who helped her break in that massive way in the mid-2010s on multiple occasions were also on the losing end of Charlotte. Legends like Trish Stratus, a crossover star like Ronda Rousey. She even ended the insane winning streak held by Asuka at WrestleMania that carried out through her NXT run into the main roster. Charlotte was the queen for a reason. She was one of the first 3 women to main event WrestleMania alongside Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey, a true historic moment, walking rather than helicoptering her way into WrestleMania 35 as the SmackDown Women's Champion, delivering a brutal knee to Ronda Rousey on Raw during the build-up to that match. Oh, that was awesome when they got arrested. Look that one up. Hands up. Who remembers that one? Ouch, yeah. She also took the NXT Women's Championship from Rhea Ripley at the No Fans WrestleMania 36, winning the title that night in an empty performance center, showing up in NXT to defend it. WWE obviously had hopes of putting more eyes on the black and yellow brand, and Charlotte was at a point in her career where her going over to NXT was an uplift to that roster at a challenging time. Charlotte then rematched with Rhea Ripley for the Nightmare Showdown in Los Angeles at WrestleMania 39. It was a show-stealing match, a weekend-stealing match. She's been the WWE women's title scene for quite a while. She is the women's title scene, constantly since her debut on the main roster. Some fans on the internet, though, were predictably starting to tire of it in the early 2020s, some of them claiming nepotism, she's only here because she's Ric Flair's daughter and not one of the best wrestlers in the world, which is so evident when she performs. And this is the same type of sentiment that fans had with Triple H, John Cena, and Roman Reigns at different points in their career. Sometimes you get so successful that it's easy to hate you. Look how much they love to hate those guys as well. In a constantly changing wrestling business and media landscape where sentiment is whipping around like wind in the air, in a pro wrestling business with a 24/7 media consumption cycle and sentiment and fan favoritism kind of whipping around in the wind, it's understandable that tastes within that fan base would constantly change as well. Villains become heroes all the time, and heroes become villains even faster sometimes. As I'm sure many in the wrestling business would attest, WWE or otherwise, you win the fans over and you can lose them just as quickly. It's worth noting, regardless of all of this, what you think of her booking, there's pretty much no denying that Charlotte is one of the greatest talents the WWE has ever presented for their women's division, or will ever present within their women's division. She has a lot of good matches, that is undeniable. And as much as you want to claim, I don't like her, or I even love her, people care. That's right, they care about Charlotte Flair. If you hate her, that is something that can be built to a match. Matches where something big happens. She even named her matches with Becky Lynch at Evolution 2018, Ronda Rousey at Survivor Series 2018, and Asuka at WrestleMania 34 as some of her personal favorites in a 2025 interview. She is a true all-timer. Other than equaling or defeating her famous father's 16-time world title record and getting inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame, which will happen one day, what is left for Charlotte to do that has an appeal, that has a hook to bring in fans? Tiffany Stratton, on the other hand, is someone who hasn't done anywhere near as much in comparison. But she's someone that WWE has very high hopes for, based on how much they've been presenting her on television recently. As you can see with her Money in the Bank win and her subsequent successful cash in to become a champion, WWE sees a whole lot in Tiffany Stratton's future. She's every bit the athlete of Charlotte Flair, as evidenced as these 2 crazy moonsaults, one of which is off of an entrance stage into Charlotte and several security guards. She's been begging to have these moments since making her big splash in NXT. She has that larger-than-life it factor that you want with any wrestler. Her athletic base that's been built up with this huge personality from the gymnastics world to pro wrestling is clear. She is a great example of what developing a WWE superstar from the ground up has proven with the Performance Center, their coaches, and everything that comes around that infrastructure. WWE, as we see it, sees Stratton as a main event talent. She's carrying one of the championships into WrestleMania. That's a position anyone wants to be in, against one of the most recognizable women on the roster who's been a world champion 14 times. How more obvious do we have to make it? Yet, going into this situation, Tiffany is still the underdog. Charlotte isn't going to be around forever. She's not going anywhere yet. She has a lot left in the tank. Yeah, shout out Mark Henry. And we're sure she's got a world title run left in front of her. Several if WWE wants her to go for the record. But eventually, she will move on to another endeavor, or maybe pull back on an in-ring role. Maybe play the role that Trish Stratus is playing nowadays. Maybe be a featured big-time match performer like a John Cena or The Rock. Maybe go and do movies. There's a lot of things that Charlotte Flair can do that isn't just being with WWE all the time, but she is still going for it. She is motivated coming out of this injury to do some big things. And the most meaningful thing that she can do as a generational talent is set up another generation of talent. WWE is looking towards the future of their women's division, with Jade Cargill, Jordynne Grace, and Stephanie Vaquer being added to the fold in 2024 and 2025. Stratton has been pressed in these generational versus generational talent type scenarios. Go back to NXT when she tangled with Becky Lynch. Yeah, Big Time Bex ended up defeating Stratton for what many consider a long overdue NXT Women's Championship run. Stratton lost that title, but she lost it to a bigger superstar who understands pacing and psychology at a much different level in televised wrestling. That is a progressive experience for a younger talent, and she benefited from it and seemed very ready by the time she got onto Raw and SmackDown. Regardless of a victory for Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania 41 over one of the greatest wrestlers in the women's history of WWE, if Tiffany Stratton wins a big match against Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 41, obviously it's a big deal, but it goes a long way to securing her status as a main event level star for years to come, with or without a title. Like John Cena beating Triple H at WrestleMania 22, where the young underdog champion beats a decorated former champion who still got a whole lot left in the tank. Triple H was the King of Kings. Charlotte is the Queen. It's quite poetic when you think about it. I saw that match in 2006. The crowd was quite split on who they chose. The older, maybe over 18 crowd was all about Triple H. The younger, more youthful side of the audience was all about John Cena. Something makes me think that that could be a lot of what we're getting with Tiffy versus Charlotte. And don't act like ageism and bias towards someone who's closer to your age or closer towards your preferences and aesthetics and looks isn't going to influence who you root for. Yeah, just having a favorite in a match, there's nothing wrong with that. But, don't get it twisted when you really analyze everything. Now, of course, if Charlotte does win, there's a benefit of having a recognizable face, an established star, as your women's division leader. And it is something she has done before. As WWE continues into the early stages of a new era, they need to have maybe some more cementing talents that casual and diehard fans say, yeah, I know that person. So, doesn't it make sense, given that we're in this new era, to throw the momentum behind a new star? Have Tiffy come in as the underdog champion and really pull out the bag against the Queen. Hit a moonsault or two, score a pin, maybe even get some pyro afterward. Like we said earlier, Charlotte will come back from this. She can take this loss and still be Charlotte Flair. She lost at WrestleMania 39 to Rhea Ripley and made Rhea Ripley. And guess what? Charlotte Flair was still Charlotte Flair afterwards, whether you like it or not. Yes, it's something we all have to bow down to. Taking a loss at WrestleMania isn't going to hurt her at all, but it could be a win that pushes Tiffany Stratton to that next level. And just because new stars are emerging, it doesn't mean that the already established names need to simply be pushed away and jobbed out. Yes, I see so many of you claiming that established name A needs to lose to Jacob Fatu now, and all of that stuff. It's honestly some of the worst fan booking I'm seeing right now from people in comment sections. Giving other top talents a break to rest up and shake off some of the audience fatigue is a win-win. Charlotte has been at the top of the mountain for a long time. She will go down in WWE history as a true trailblazer, and regardless of your opinion, she is undeniable. But change is a good thing, and right now, as I look at the clock, I'm checking the time right now. Yeah, I believe it is indeed Tiffy time. And that's it for another video. Do you agree with our take presented here? Come on, the comment section is right there. You watched all of this and you can't type something out? Jump down there and let us know there. Let us know in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Sportskeeda Wrestling for more content just like this.